What does personal finance mean to you? Do you sometimes wonder where all your money went? How much money do you need to reach financial independence? Are you aggressively investing? So let's start with personal finance. What is personal finance? Investopedia explains, personal finance is a term that covers managing your money as well as saving and investing. If you ask me what personal finance is, understanding where your money is going and making a decision to save and invest in order to meet your goals. In this video, I'll talk about the 4 questions and provide some advice and tips along the way. I'll cover 3 important personal finance aspects, and I'll add 1 additional to that where I feel is important to consider. First, let's start with budget. You can't start anything else until you have control and understand your own budget. So what budget is, you want to understand where your expenses are going, and then having a portion of your take-home pay as a savings and investments. The goal here is not to exceed your budget. Important things to consider: rental, mortgage expense, utilities costs, transportation, food, entertainment, travel. Second, let's talk about savings. Before you can really save, you'll have to be able to pay off your high interest credit, which is credit cards, student loans. Those are typically the higher interest account. So paying off those sooner than later, you're then able to have a healthy savings and starting your investment plan. Typical norm is to have some emergency fund somewhere between 3 and 6 months. That really depends on who relies on you. Do you have children? Do you have a significant other that is staying at home? So factoring those in, you want to be able to cover for that amount of time. I would recommend 6 months, because then that gives you, in the event that you lose a job or you want to switch to a new job or career, or something happens to you, at least you'll have some time to bounce back, recover, and then look for another job, right? So you don't want to be only giving yourself 3 months where you're forced to take a lower paying job. There are 2 tips I'd like to give regarding emergency fund. There are ways to get there faster. First one I'd like to bring up is your 401k. So in California, you're allowed to pull up to 50% of your 401k. Maximum you can pull out any given time is $50,000, right? That can be a healthy cushion for your emergency fund. Some people may go against this. They always feel you should not ever touch your 401k account because that is designed for your retirement. They're right, but this, in a sense, it's an emergency fund, and that's what it's for. It's an emergency case where you weren't anticipating it to happen, but it did, right? So 401k is an option. I like 401k because then you're not being taxed when you take a loan on your 401k. Now you withdraw from that, that's different. I'm talking about a loan from your 401k. Any interest that you pay on this loan, keep in mind, it does go back into your retirement account. So at the end of the day, this is your money. It's just accruing off of your interest. Number 2 is the HELOC account. HELOC stands for Home Equity Line of Credit. So this is if you owned your home for several years and you built some equity in there, and your home has also appreciated over the last several years, you now have some equity on the home. So you can go to your lender, they can give you a line of credit, which acts as a credit card. No pre-approval necessary because this is your property, right? So you don't need to have a good credit score or whatnot. But the HELOC is a two-dimensional, meaning any money that you pay out and you immediately pay what you owe on your HELOC account, the money becomes available for you to pull out again. Versus having a mortgage where you pay the mortgage, right? As soon as you pay the mortgage, the money's gone. It goes into your mortgage, to your principal, and to your interest. So because of that, you're not able to pull out that money as easily. So that's the advantage of the HELOC account. The disadvantage of having a HELOC account is that as soon as you make that transaction or use that expense on your HELOC line of credit, what that means is from day one, you're paying interest. If you compare this to a credit card, you make a transaction and you don't need to pay any interest on that until at the end of the cycle, and that's if you did not pay in full. As long as you pay in full every month, you don't need to pay any interest on the credit card. But HELOC is the opposite. HELOC, you pay interest from day one, once the transaction is made. Number 3, to get you toward your financial independence, you have to be able to invest that money, making that money work harder for you to generate more money. So for me, there are 2 forms of investment that I highly consider, the very least. The first, your 401k employer match plan, or your IRA, individual retirement account. Simply means most employers will match to a certain percentage of your salary, right? So at the very minimum, take advantage of that. Once you're able to up that, I would recommend maximizing putting your money into your 401k or maximizing your IRA account if you're not working for an employer. So for me, I'm putting my money into an index fund or an ETF fund account. The reason why is because these accounts mirror the S&P 500, which the average return for that is anywhere between 7 and 9% annually over the long haul. So when I put my money into these accounts, I'm looking at the long term, not necessarily the short term, because I'm not going to be pulling out this money until my retirement age. So because of that, I'm using this here, and this fund is a diversified portfolio where they select many accounts within that. So it is a very diversified selection. The only downside is that you have to pay a fee based on your money that's in there, and I think it's like 0.25% fee of the total money, or even some accounts are even less than that. So take a look at that, consider those. But these costs helps have a management person oversee your portfolio. So those are the 3 main lists I have for personal finance, right? You want to be able to budget, save that money, and then invest. And the 4th item I'm going to add, and I feel is very important because this is one of the biggest expense items that any person would make on average, right? And this is real estate. We all need a place to live. So I feel this is one of the safest investments you can make because people will always need a place to live. And if you're living in California, for example, population has been increasing year over year. Real estate is also a tangible asset where you can feel, you can touch, and you can see, right? So I can see it. Versus a stock, it's just some number on the computer, you'll never see it. So, and you're relying on someone else to make a good decision and make those profits for you. Versus having real estate, you know it's your property, you can always make improvements to it, you can rent it out, and you'll know that it will generate money. I have several homes in the Sacramento market, and over the last 4 years, the home has been appreciating at 8% per year, which is crazy. But I mean, just having the home, I'm getting equity every year because of the appreciation. And because real estate, having a home is going to be one of your biggest expenses, the sooner you're able to pay off your primary residence, the better you're off financially reaching your goal toward becoming financially independent. I've been focused on the FIRE movement. FIRE stands for Financial Independence Retire Early. So for me, I've been aggressively saving and investing in anywhere between 75% or more. But to be considered in the FIRE movement, you want to at least take around 50% of your take-home pay towards your savings and retirement plan. In the most general sense, if you were to reach financial independence, that is taking the math of your annual take-home money requirement times that by 25. That number there, my friends, are your financial independence number. So if I want $5,000 a month of take-home pay, I would take that number, times it by 12 months a year, which is 60,000 is what I want per year, times that by 25, which is 1.5 million. If I were to want $60,000 per year, then I would need to have $1.5 million saved. Now this is very general. There's gonna be several factors involved, right? At the time of retirement, are you going to be more frugal and spend less because you're able to pay off your mortgage, therefore reducing your overall expense, which is the biggest expense, by the way? Or when you reach financial independence, did you want to be able to spend more than what you are spending today? If that's the case, you have to keep that in mind. It's gonna take longer for you to reach that goal of yours. Questions I would consider asking yourself. How many more years do you need to work until you reach financial independence? And if you're not satisfied with that number, what can you do today to get you closer to your goal? What will you do with all your free time if you're no longer working? What will you do that brings you joy if money was not a factor? Thank you for watching my video, guys, and don't forget to subscribe and like the video. My name is Michael Lai. I am a finance manager currently for the last 10 years and managing company finances. I got my master's degree in business, went to school in economics, and a piece of my experience that I've learned throughout the years. And hopefully you find this video useful, educational, and learn one or two things new. Thank you. And comment below if you'd like me to talk a little bit further about any of the topics. I did brush through each of the topics, but I did want to cover everything that you should definitely consider in order to reach financial independence. Thank you for watching. Bye now.